I'm Steve,
I'm Tom.
and this is Demagogue News with Things You Need to Know About, Episode 14, the Coronavirus Update, the USS Roosevelt, and the European Union.
Alternately titled Enter the Boogaloo-verse.
Hey. Alrighty, Tom. So, it's day who knows how much.
Yeah, you lose track of them after a while.
Yeah, my entire wall is covered with tally marks. I've covered the whole thing. It's been so long. Haven't seen the kiss of the sun in many moons.
That's an oxymoron if I ever heard one.
So, I mean, trucking along as usual.
Yeah.
End of the world, kind of. Boringest apocalypse ever.
Yeah, right? Like, the movies make it seem so, like, sensational, and then for us it's just annoying.
It's absolutely annoying. Now that's making it sound a lot better than some other people are going through it, a lot worse than us. But
Yeah, that's fair.
for the majority, it's just the lockdown is a good way to say it. It's a lockdown. You just put all of us in a box, and so we sit.
Yeah.
We sit in a box.
So while we're sitting in these boxes, the press conferences are also becoming a little bit more monotonous. Same stuff, except for President Trump. We had discussed in earlier episodes that now he's looking like the great uniter. Well, he's devolving back into pretty classic Trump.
I don't know about that. He just said in today's press conference he had a wonderful conversation with Joe Biden.
Yeah, and he said that, but at the same time he's out there, and you are a third-rate reporter.
Oh no, the Q&As are becoming really spicy because what I think is what they're all feeling is that these press conferences, after a while, the beginning was reaction and then game plan, and now it's execution. Now things are getting executed and things are happening, and we're getting all the masks and all the ventilators. Well, now the plan's just going into motion.
Yeah.
So there's not much to talk about. We're sending them out. We're doing this. We're doing that. So I think all the reporters are getting really, really antsy. You know,
I mean, it's almost like, okay, like people are kind of getting tired of like their families and stuff being quarantined. It's
the,
like
the
same
reporters
thing
are
with
getting
Trump.
tired of like, have you seen this bastard again today? Ugh, just like yesterday. And their questions are getting more spicy, and his responses are just getting better and better.
Oh yeah, they're amazing now. Chuck Schumer, he's a lightweight. He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's just being tough about politics. Joe Biden says something mean to me. He didn't even write that. That wasn't even him.
Which, speaking of Joe Biden, we attempted to watch a little like podcast thing with Joe Biden and other people.
What we've said many, many times is this at the time for Biden and Bernie to capitalize on being on the main stage because no one has anything else to do. So you can get some, talk to the people right now. So we had a little, virtual town hall with all these people, and it was just asking questions that were nothing new. I did, for the 20 minutes we watched, there was no real outreach.
No,
there was no. I mean, talk about bringing it back to the platform, campaigning. He didn't even do that. So it was a very milquetoasty, just kind of like, hey, we're talking to these nobody YouTubers and Michelle Kwan.
Yeah, if anybody remembers, a former U.S. gold medalist in ice skating.
Amazing, but also, who cares?
Yeah, also, it's been a minute. We watched Joe describe what a virus is to a child, which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't. Good attempt.
Yeah, no. This is what you call a virus. It's like it was really, really weird and just not informative, waste of our time, and it was during a press conference.
Yeah, we immediately swapped over because something actually interesting and pertinent was on. But in the last couple of days, more the big claim, more having the most tests means that we have the most numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So that law of large numbers is working out. We have over 300,000 cases of the coronavirus, half of that being in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
So,
noted they are showing less of a rate of spread, which is good.
Yeah, it's finally starting to be the exponential curve is finally not straight up, which is good.
Yeah. Unlike our state of Nevada, we have finally hit 2K.
Yeah, but we're on the low end, so
yeah, we are.
Yeah, I think that's all gonna grow as more and more time goes by.
Yeah, we have yet to hit our zenith, and this is supposedly the week that it's supposed to be the worst week.
Right. The measures are going to be coming into effect in a week or two for all the shutdown. So this is the time where it's all spreading and incubating and coming out. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, even and they're expecting it to hit other places that are a little bit behind the curve, like Chicago. They've got 1,000 beds in McCormick Place, which is a center. It's a convention center in Chicago.
Yeah, Illinois. They got it starts with the Z. What's the is the Zavitz Convention Center in Louisiana. So yeah, they're building these massive temporary hospitals because they're expecting it to ramp up past what the hospitals can take. And yeah, that's there's been nothing new in these press conferences, anything interesting.
No, but again, I'm seeing more shit talking from Trump. Like for the governor of Illinois, I think his name's like Presker.
Yeah,
He's like, oh yeah, all he does is moan. I mean, he really should have done this, but we stepped in, we did it. It's okay.
On the conversations, everyone's real happy, but talks to the press, doing politics.
Yeah, and I guess the weirdest thing from the press that I'm seeing is like that in the past they've called Trump a dictator, but now his approach is like based on localities, which is an efficient way to take care of a virus. But they're saying like, oh, well, why don't you take the reins? Why don't you do a national shutdown?
That's the big conversation right there, and I think that's when Trump's truly holding the line on that.
Definitely.
You don't have to. First of all, there's a Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
This piece of paper is going to be Trump and all. I'm not going to be Trump and all. And he's not going to break that for something now, because that's big case precedent right there.
Yeah,
You're going to be the president. That's not going to be good.
New World Order president.
Hey,
hey, Bill Gates, you listening?
I know. And from what Dr. Fauci says, that these places that aren't doing full-on stay-at-home orders, like here in, 38 states, well, most of them, that they're still doing fine. So
yeah,
I think it shows that, where you're at and locality is just as important.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're not going to turn to fascist dictatorship. Sorry, Democrats. He's not going to turn into monster you believe. At least I don't think so yet.
I don't know. It is. Things are kind of fascist right now. It's like it's kind of sort of fascist.
Kind of, sort of. Desperate times.
Yeah, in these trying times. Fascism looks kind of fashionable, I must say. But I guess going on to, we like to focus on these little mini stories in the Boogaloo verse, and one of these that's gotten a lot of press is Captain Brett Crozier.
Yes, captain of the USS Roosevelt. In the last couple days, he, I think it was like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So the days have become so large. 5 days ago, oh my gosh, it was eons ago. He leaked a paper to the San Francisco newspaper about the conditions of the ship and the people that have the coronavirus on the ship.
Yeah, because weird that a virus spreads really rapidly on a ship.
That's very compact and very close-knit, which unfortunately is absolutely a fact. And instead of going through his chain of command and alerting the necessary people, or I'm sure instituting safeguards that are in, because military policy is 1 billion pages.
Yeah,
there's codes for fucking everything. You can do anything and everything.
That's a gigantic bureaucracy.
Yeah, and instead of doing that, he went straight to the public, and as such, he's been immediately relieved of command, and that's brought out a whole big rush of people coming to his defense, because he was being, maybe you would say, the whistleblower. Letting everybody know.
Use pre-corona world terminology. Yeah.
And I think it's something that anyone who's in the military would absolutely understand why he was fired, and everyone outside the military can't understand why he was fired. And at the end of the day, it comes down to chain of command and policy. Yeah. And even Trump today, he doesn't want to ruin the guy's career. Was it a mistake? Yes. Shouldn't have done that.
He said everybody has bad days. The guy had a great career prior to this. And I think a lot of it comes down to he was kind of in panic mode, and you don't act super rational when your life is on the line.
The lacking information, how bad is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, the positive thing, I'm the captain of this ship. Mm-hmm. These are all my guys. I don't give a damn. I want to make sure these guys come home safe. They're my number one priority. They're not safe. There's a problem.
Yeah, we're stuck on this ship. We're not allowed to dock.
Yeah, you're stuck on the ship. You can't just leave a ship in the water. It don't work that way. So I'm going to do the fastest thing I believe is necessary and capable to help my guys. So, I mean, that's yes.
Yeah.
But also no.
But, from a military perspective, that is highly unprofessional to not talk to your superior officer about this.
Yeah, because I'm sure if there is a real problem, that that telephone call will go up real fast.
Yeah.
So that maybe, but now we're talking in minutes and hours and days, and
Yeah, the military isn't designed to react as fast as like things are right now.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see how that stuff kind of goes. It's unfortunate because I mean it does show that there's maybe some power strife or some things that aren't well oiled in the U.S. military, and they absolutely are. And everyone else, I'm sure. But then after the U.S. Navy Secretary Thomas Modly called him stupid.
Yeah,
And
that
he absolutely
was
should be fired, and that's created a whole new other
huge
storm.
misstep. Like very like.
Well, he's telling you how it is. He's telling you how it
you
is.
can say that, but it's not good. Like you don't want to air your dirty laundry out in front of everybody else. That's not a smart move.
Yeah. Equally is not the greatest thing in the world. So lawmakers have called for him to resign as well. So this whole mess that as pertinent as it is, it's not that important, guys.
No, it's just it's a side story.
It's a big side
in
story
this grand scheme.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, a little bit larger of a story, if we're going like from micro to macro, and across the pond, is the European Union, not really working out in these trying times.
Kind of falling apart, maybe a little bit. If you don't know, the European Union is a collaboration of 48 countries.
I wanted to say it was 28. I really should have researched that, but regardless,
a good chunk of the EU are also under one flag. If you remember all the Brexit news, that's a ancillary thing to that. Mm-hmm. And as of right now, it's not working like the European Union dreams of their,
Yeah, it's been an experiment since the end of the Second War, really, but really kicked off in the 70s of this economic partnership. At first between France and Germany, they have a history of bad blood. So maybe, by making a whole bunch of countries economically interdependent, they're countries that trade, like don't go to war.
Right.
So
countries that trade together stay together.
that's cute. But
it's not working right now.
Yeah, it evolved past that point to include a lot of other more dimensions, and that that we were all going to help each other in case shit hit the fan. So in Italy's case, it really didn't get any aid from its European counterparts, and it's gotten like barely anything since then. It's always been kind of a struggle for the European Union too. You have their sort of like core states who are economic powerhouses, like
Germany, France,
Sweden, the Netherlands, and then these southern periphery states,
Greece,
Italy. Greece, Spain, who they kind of like drag their feet a little bit. They're not as like well oiled as the rest of them.
They might maybe rely more than other countries on the EU.
Yeah, and then. But the whole agreement was like, hey, we're all going to help each other out.
Win this together, right?
And that's not the case. Germany closed off its borders. Like, you're starting to see that, open borders, terrible for a pandemic.
Every single country that is inside the Schengen area, which is the open borders policy, have all closed down all of their borders. And in a lot of these countries, the quote-unquote border like goes to people's homes through restaurants. It's not some perfect, well-oiled line like in other countries. It's really like not established.
Yeah.
So they're having to make these new lines. I could see there'll be a lot of national contention because people bitch about fucking borders.
Yeah.
We own that. We don't own that. But, a fence can only go on a street. You can't cut through someone's house. This bridge is a good part. Let's make the bridge it. And so that's going around. And this may be a death knell for the EU.
Yeah, the EU might be one of the casualties for the coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean, Brexit was for 3.5 years. It was all about Brexit.
Yeah, and I bet you the British are very happy right now that they got out of the European Union just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time, baby.
Like Italians being polled, 2/3 of Italians right now want them to exit the European Union.
I mean, they're not getting anything out of it right now.
Yeah.
In times of struggle, when this would be convenient to be in a coalition of other states to help me, well, when everyone's on fire, can't douse your neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's really showing right now.
They've all sort of, you notice that the Europeans just devolved into nationalism so quick. It's
like they've done this before.
Yeah, right?
The Italians are nationalistic.
I think any of them, really. Like the Germans, obviously, like they've been talking a good game, but now when push has come to shove, they're worried about Germany. They're not worried about the European Union.
Which, at the end of the day, if that's my elected leader of the country and you're bitching about somebody else when my house is on fire, that's not going to work out. And I
No.
think every country is going to be doing that because every country is in this together, but they got to figure out their own problems.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in the post-corona world, if the European Union does survive the virus, you're definitely going to see a lot more pushback on in the migrant situation. I know Turkey is thinking about just like letting all these Syrian refugees just
Pour on in. Yeah.
just pour in like through Greece. And the European Union
How are
has
the
had
Syrian refugees dealing with this coronavirus crisis?
That's a good question because they're all tightly packed
Huddled together.
and
Not the greatest living conditions. Migrating from place to place.
Yeah, and as a country who's trying to like stave off this this pandemic, that's a terrible idea to let a whole bunch of people in who have been in close quarters into your country
with no medical history, with no knowledge of where they've been and where they're going.
Yeah, it's just it's not xenophobic. It's just like it's
the
being
truth.
practical,
right? To protect the health of your country.
Mhm.
You know, when there's plagues, cities shut down their cities. It doesn't matter what race or gender or anything you are. You
Yeah.
can't come in here. And by allowing that to happen, I think, you know, when it comes to the conspiracy of globalism, this is a direct attack against it.
It is.
We can't have open borders and shit like this happens, so we close the borders, you know. And that nationalistic pride on having a line that's mine and a line that's yours is really going to be coming out a lot. Speaking of lines that have been drawn, we've had our first country fall into the nationalistic pit of despair.
Ooh.
Hungary, the prime minister of Hungary has canceled elections and has basically taken the government for himself.
Yeah.
That's a thing. Hungary, which doesn't really have that much cases or that much in deaths as of right now, has gone full overboard.
Yeah.
And has basically,
they're a dictatorship now.
Yeah. They've reset the country into a, and it says it's all for until this pandemic is over. But when you take rights, you don't really give them back.
Mm-mm.
So Hungary has taken the first large step into controlling the country. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was influenced because whether or not the numbers from China are correct, China shut down the entire country in like a month.
Yeah.
Like with no arguments because you don't argue with the Chinese government. And it was all shut down. And if the numbers are true from China, they've done a good job. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hungary's thought like, those guys did it pretty good. Why don't we do that? Let's take over the country. So that will be definitely a developing story in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
As more information comes out.
Especially when the pandemic is over. Like if you notice when government outreaches itself, very rarely and reluctantly does it sort of recede.
Yeah, it's like taxes. They always go up, but they never go down.
Yeah, weird how that works.
Yeah. And yeah. That's some interesting things going on in the world.
Yeah, that's the corona world, but in I guess in the popular imagination and attention, Steve and I finally relented and checked out Tiger King.
Ooh, Tiger King. It's truly the coronavirus special. Those guys couldn't have picked out a better time to release something that required you to pay attention and stay at home for large periods of time. That's going to be... I mean, they're already talking about a dramatized movie.
Yeah. There's supposedly a new episode coming out relatively soon.
Ooh,
so I'm
an
excited.
epilogue episode?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Everyone's taste in TV with the coronavirus has gone down super low, but gosh, do you find some diamonds in the rough?
Yeah, like Steve and I watched it in one sitting. It was
I believe
that
most
good.
people watched it in one sitting. They watched the first episode and thought, what the fuck?
It's
I need to
nuts.
watch the second episode.
It just keeps escalating.
It's like a train wreck, but it's in a decline, so it just starts going faster and faster. Truly an incredible time for people working through the panic of the coronavirus to get their reality TV in. Oh boy, we fully endorse Joe Exotic for governor of Oklahoma.
And the question on everybody's mind: did Carol Baskin kill her husband?
Yeah, bitch.
That damn Carol Baskin.
I actually I wouldn't be surprised if from this documentary that things will come to light, or they spend millions more dollars trying to figure out because the public outreach is going to be ginormous.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
huge.
be surprised if she's getting death threats and just staying in her house from this documentary that makes everyone look like a piece of shit. That people are going to ally themselves with this intersectional gay Republican, gun toting, straight man fucking, tiger owner.
he converts straight guys to being gay through crystal meth.
Hey, God, if that's not American, I don't know what is. Yeah. So, if you need some entertainment in these trying times, please check out Tiger King. Please sponsor us. And I don't know. On another large section, Boris Johnson has got the coronavirus pretty bad.
Yeah, he's in intensive care.
Yeah, that's another really important person that's fallen prey to the plague. That'll be an interesting one. What will happen? Because I never really known. We know what happens when a president dies in this is secession. What happens when a prime minister dies or is unfit to rule?
Yeah, I guess it would be his second in command of his party, but he also has a coalition. So like, what do they have to say about it? Like the other parties, maybe it'll be Nigel Farage. I don't know.
No, I think I read it over here. His last name, Dominic Raab, I believe.
Oh yeah.
He's the designated survivor type of character who would take he'll be like an emergency interim prime minister. And since they changed over so quickly, I imagine they would have like another vote again.
Yeah.
For which party holds and blah 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 blah. But yeah.
But then how would you conduct that when everybody's locked down?
Mail-in ballots. Those always work.
They're always really honest.
Yeah, honest. There's never any fraud with that. But yeah, that's we'll see how the UK fares in this. China apparently is doing awesome.
Supposedly.
Yep.
From their own admission.
They basically are opening up most of their country, even though quite possibly 21 million people are still missing from their cellular networks. So I don't know how they're going to explain that one. That's going to be a spooky one. But here's a question for you, Tom. Is there any silver lining from this whole coronavirus pandemic? I think there's anything that could be remarked as a good thing now that we're in this?
I think that emerging from it, we're going to be much better at emergency responses.
Yeah, I think that won't be a problem after this. Yeah, that'll be lickety split, right?
Yeah, we're all getting our bearings because this is, and I kind of thought about this, we're basically living a movie plot. Like, life was always normal for us for so long.
And then the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah, or something like that. It's in February, you could have never predicted that we would all be in like this national quarantine and that everything would be weird.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, that the entire economy would rush to a halt, and then the 15 days to slow the spread turned to 30 days. Now it's going to be April 30th, and then we'll see what happens there.
Yeah,
it's going to go on to July, June 15th. So it's a very unknowing time. We don't have a lot of information, so we're definitely running through a interesting movie plot.
But I think also after this, it'll be interesting to see if we revert back to some of the sort of fringe politics that existed prior to the pandemic.
That's a major thing right now that is not happening. Are these ultra left or ultra right talking points that were swirling around for the past year and 5 years, you could say.
Yeah, I wasn't really aware of it until 2015. Really,
it's all come to a screeching halt. There's no chit chatting about intersectionality. So there's nothing talking about insert thing rights or anything that's really on the fringe left or in the fringe right at all.
Or even like Second Amendment. I have heard crickets.
Yeah, ain't nobody arguing with the NRA right now. And the NRA is definitely going to be happy that this happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the conversation of Second Amendment isn't going to be a thing for a hot minute. Yeah, gun stores are selling out. Essential business. Yeah, that's going to be stopped in its tracks.
So, what I'm hoping for is that I guess we're, as a modern population, more grounded coming out of this virus. And I know that a lot of people, I guess it's kind of acceptable to just be a bum, but this is sort of a time to better yourself in a weird way too.
You ain't got nothing else but time, my friend. Learn a skill, especially if you have families, really taking the family time and enjoy what you have. Be blessed from the things you do have. Help others. I know I've absolutely been seeing that. Is that the intercommunication between people is a lot better of an attitude.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
As much as they're not going to be shaking hands and getting close to each other.
Elbows or nothing.
Right. But the way in which they interact with each other is a lot more positive. And a nice little silver lining from that, having a better, positive society. It's very much the nationalistic pride after big events happen. After 9/11, American flags and everyone's being chill and cool because something bad happened. We got to work together. Well, something bad's happening right now. We got to work together. So that would be amazing if that could really bleed into our society for the future.
Yeah,
and
that'd be great.
Be ingrained, for a long period of time. That'd be a really good one. No, and I think what I think is a silver lining is that I think this shows the argument is that these rich people don't have struggle, and for a very, very large part, if you have a lot of money, you ain't worrying about not working for a year because you're set. But showing that struggle is universal. Just because you got $1 zillion, well, if you have $1 zillion in bills too, and you're paycheck to paycheck like a lot of millionaires are, it's just as hard, and you're settling down to an equal footing with everybody else. The epidemic is a equal opportunity disease.
It is like a lot of famous people, like Eminem, Tom Hanks, Boris
Idris
Johnson.
Elba.
Yeah.
Just because they're famous doesn't mean that they're special. And multiple celebrities have died from this, so it's not like that they're immune or special.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Magic Johnson with all the money in the world. And I think that will, not as much as the positivity of it, but that will show that this is real struggle. And we're not that much different.
Yeah, definitely. So, hoping we all come out of this like a little bit better than we were before. A little bit more, things are more realistic, I guess. Like we're being brought back to reality after like living in Shangri-La.
Right. Yeah. Or living in hell, as some people might think, is the most terrible 4 years of their lives. That now that a lot of politics is out the window. Debates are basically out the window.
Yeah.
That we're not worrying about, this bipartisan, this partisan,
less so.
my
That's
team, your team.
Great point.
Yeah, the tribe is out. Now we are one tribe, the Don't Die tribe.
Yeah.
And the Make Sure My Grandparents Don't Die tribe. And the, salute to medical workers. It's always been a funny meme is, oh, I don't need celebrities or, blah, 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 but we need truck drivers and medical personnel. Go, shit. Who's busting their ass right now?
Yeah.
People working at Albertsons and people working in the hospital and people driving truck. I think this really goes to show that these dumb blue-collar jobs, those are the real jobs.
Yeah, they are. They're essential.
Me and Tom work for the casinos on these cool jobs where we make all this not real jobs.
No,
and
not essential.
When shit hits the fan, nobody needs these jobs. But the real jobs, teachers, manufacturing, trucking, agriculture, real freaking jobs. And to support those, it's been a big argument that college has made it so these trades aren't really important. Well, damn, if they aren't important right now, they're real important. So,
yeah, it's humanizing. It's really
humanizing. Yeah.
Like you're saying, like less tribes, you're less likely to view somebody like poor, like it's almost like we didn't view people of other political beliefs as human before this. And then same thing with like blue collar workers. Like, oh yeah, well they're just a fast food worker.
No, they're just dumb. They can't get a real job. Who's got the real job now?
Yeah, so it's I like that.
Yeah, I think that will really show what's really valuable. And I think that's another big thing. We're being shown what's actually valuable. For many people that don't have jobs, it's terrible, but everyone's being really shown what's the real value of being a person, being alive, when you can't work, when there's emergency and the struggle. Yeah, it really goes to show what being human is.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yes, I like it. So stay safe out there, my friends. There's apparently some of our hardest 2 weeks coming up soon. So stay safe.
And stay tuned. We put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday to let you know what's going on in the Boogaloo verse.
Oh, yeah. Like us on Facebook, on Demagogue News, Instagram, Twitter, all those good things.
Yeah, keep your head on that swivel.